Welcome to the Roar Career Talk podcast, where we get real about career growth, transitions, and everything in between. I'm your host, Violeta Hryhorian, and today we're diving deep into the world of program management with someone who's not just been there, but has built entire playbooks for success. Joining us is Janani Chandran, technical program manager with over 20 years of global experience. And beyond her resume, she's a mentor, Substack writer, and an advocate for real human-centered leadership in tech. Janani, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Violeta, thank you so much for the great introduction. Excited to be here today.
Amazing. Janani, please tell us a little bit more about yourself, like your experience, just a short intro.
Sure. I would say myself as a passionate program manager. And let me deep dive into why do I say that. You see, I started my career as a software engineer. I have also been a QA. Then I have done program management, product management, project management, all this, a combination of roles. Then, if you ask me what is that brings in the passion out of me or what is that I love the most, it is program management. And I say that that is my calling, that's my true self. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, when someone is calling that okay, it's my true calling, I feel like, the most at it. I'm so happy for that person, right? Because like our
Absolutely.
jobs is like it's not just like 9 to 5, right? We spend lots of time there, and it's very important to like love your job, right?
Exactly, exactly. And it's not just in the job or the outputs, right? See, as a program manager, I'm looking into the outcomes. What did I deliver for my business or organization? That makes me immensely proud.
Right. Fantastic. Okay. So before we dive deep into our topic, so let's do a quick like blitz icebreaker round.
Sure.
So I'm gonna ask you quick 10 questions and you will try to reply with like one, two words. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, let's try. So coffee or tea to start your day?
T.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird, any day.
Wow, cool. What's book, movie, or show you rewatched more than 3 times?
Oh, well, there are lots of movies. If you talk about books, right, I really love The Atomic Habits. I've read it twice. I think I've read it thrice.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, James Clear, also my favorite one.
Absolutely.
Okay, beach vacation or mountain escape?
Mountains?
Okay, nice. Favorite tool for program tracking? Jira, Asana, or something else?
Well, let me be very honest. Jira is something that I have used over so many years, so I have my loyalty towards Jira. So, Jira,
Nice. Remote work or in-person collaboration?
in person collaboration.
Nice. Hard skills or soft skills?
To me, at this moment, soft skills.
Soft skills. Perfect. Crisis moment. First instinct. Lead, delegate, or pause?
Delegate.
Delegate. Wow,
Yeah.
cool. So, last leadership or management book that truly inspired you?
Well, I wouldn't name anything in particular, but there are lots of podcasts that I have been listening to these days. And Ethan Evans is like one of my very favorite leaders. I love listening to him any day.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, that's very cool advice for our listeners. Super cool. Okay, thanks for answering this blitz round. I think it was very interesting. So let's dive deep into our topic. And our topic for today's podcast is how to transition to program management. Like for anyone who wants to do that, mostly for project managers. So how to make
Hmm.
actually that leap. And yeah, before we will find the answer to this question, right? So let's start with understanding the role. So Janani, who is a program manager?
See, I see a program manager as a seasoned project manager. After you have successfully managed so many projects, you start understanding what happens when I look at this project as a subset of a bigger thing.
Mhm.
That bigger thing is a program. So to define it, it's a huge thing which consists of many projects within it, and as a program manager you try to understand strategically. So Violetta, let's go back into basics. You have the vision and mission of a product, which serves as the purpose, right? Why are we doing this product? Or what features are we adding in? What is the benefit? Those benefits are realized by programs. So program manager is the one who's constantly understanding strategically how are we going to contribute. So I would say that once you are a seasoned project manager, you have been managing projects for a few years, I would challenge everyone to go to the next level, and that is where your program management starts.
Amazing. Yeah. So basically, from what I'm hearing is that after you like became a project manager, had some experience in that, like 3, 5 years, the next logical step would be become a program manager.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, like you mentioned the strategy, right? So
Right.
what are the day-to-day differences between project and program management that job descriptions don't tell us?
Wonderful. Why not? We'll start. See, when you are working as a project manager, you very well understand your team. You are working with a dedicated team and you have a kind of, fixed scope and you know what your clear milestones are. Let's go and make it into a bigger scale now.
Mhm.
You're working with a bigger team. You have multiple stakeholders because you have so many interdependent projects right within your program. And at certain times, there is also this unknown factor. You don't know how is team A progressing or what impact is team A having on team B. You will have to find these kind of dependencies, collaborate with them to gather that information. And as a program manager for you, the key thing that makes a difference is how do you learn to manage all these teams who are connecting together for a purpose. And let's talk about the challenge that you might face. You have multiple teams working on a program. At certain points, there will be a team who would say, I don't know why even we are working on it. It doesn't align with my priority or it doesn't align with my strategy. At that point, bringing everyone to a shared goal, that sense of achievement that yes, together we are going to contribute to something that will impact the organization. Bringing everyone to that level is tough. So take that challenge, guys.
Fantastic. Yeah. So as you mentioned, like having and keeping in mind that shared goal is like
Right.
priority number one on a daily
Yeah,
basis, right? Because like
absolutely.
the more we work like day-to-day routine, right, we can just like for some moment forget what is our goal, right? And then we start like being lost in the strategy. So
Right.
when you feel that, okay, I don't know what to do next, right, we can be there, right? It's like, what is the strategy, what are the next steps? Come back to the goal that you have, that you share with your team, and start from there.
Exactly. And one thing that you have to master here is looking into the roadmap. As a project manager, I don't think so. You have to be really perfect with the roadmap and stuff. But as a program manager, you'll have to challenge yourself to understand a lot about roadmaps. What kind of KPIs am I expecting with these programs and how they connect with each other? That's important.
Perfect, perfect. And how to understand that you're ready to become a program manager and take this role. So let's imagine we have like, I don't know, a project manager with 3 years of experience, right? So how to actually understand for that person that yes, I'm ready to go on LinkedIn and try to look for program manager's role.
Well, that's a very good question, I would say. See, there is no formal definition. And even if you ask me, will a certification make me into a program manager? I would say no. I think your experience is all that matters. So the first step you start is why don't you take a bigger project, certain times a larger scale projects where there are multiple teams involved, or you would see that you are working in different phases. Like in phase one you do have a bigger delivery, then phase two is kind of relaxed phase, probably you're fixing up bugs. Phase three is going to be a bigger delivery. Try to take something that's different from your existing projects.
Mhm.
Take a large scale project to start with, or even things where you have an intersection of business goal and technology. Why do you think that is needed? From a business perspective, your business would be driving you towards money or improving the quality of outcomes that we're having right on a business side, be it growth or engagement. You are increasing something. From the technical perspective, people would be saying, oh, should I go with this architecture or the other one? What about the tech debts? What happened to those backlogs from the previous sprint? Are we adding it here? I would say that you will have to try a complex situation like this where you are managing your business and your technology together. That would give you a rough exposure to how a program will look like. Come and try it as a first step.
Love it, love it.
Learn
So
to manage that chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, learn to manage that chaos. Yeah, absolutely love it and agree with that. Like when you want to leap into the more senior role, right, or shift to a more senior role, like you need to go somewhere where your fear lies, right? So you need to take on
Absolutely.
more like bigger program, like bigger projects, right? Maybe ask for your colleagues like how you can help them, right? Or go to your
Hmm.
manager and ask for the another like program or project you can work on. So yeah,
Right.
that's amazing advice here. Okay, and from your like experience, Janani, have you dealt or hired like fresh graduates as program managers? And how about the project managers that recently graduated? Because you mentioned that okay, when you feel that okay, you have enough experience, you can apply for the program managers. But how about
Right.
fresh graduates?
I would say start with project management. So, Violeta, I would strongly recommend project management even to fresh grads. You are a college grad, you have been managing projects unofficially. Remember that CCA club that you have been managing, or you went and organized an event, did something. All that is a mini project. All that while, probably you didn't do it in a formal way, you didn't have a structured process. So I would say for all those fresh grads who are interested, come and try it out as a project manager. What happens is after you learn project management, you will try to analyze it. You will try to see how do I align this current skill sets into a larger goal. So that is where program management comes into picture. So I would say don't start as a program manager yet
Mhm.
because you still don't understand the strategy part yet. Or you might not be well versed with the kind of conflict management that you will need to do. Right? You'd have heard of this word called the key trade-offs that we do. When you negotiate with teams, as a fresh grad, you might not have hands-on experience getting those trade-offs negotiated. So I'd say start with project management, and once you have say 2 3 years of experience, then you move on to become a program manager.
Beautiful. Yeah, so don't rush to become a program manager if you're a fresh
Don't rush.
graduate. Yeah.
Exactly. And one more thing I would like to say is for all those project managers, guys, you might not be working in technology, you might be working in different sectors, banking or construction or different thing. Try to understand how are your different systems connecting, understanding the key systems, the key players, and how do they influence the organization. That is very important, so take time to understand that details.
Wow, that's awesome advice. Like taking time, taking like just move step by step, right? From project management to program management, like connect with other people also, right?
Yeah,
Because as you mentioned, like different industries, different roles, different systems,
right.
managing different programs. So yeah, that's awesome. And how did you manage to pivot from project management to program management? Because I saw like in your career history, right, that you started also like a QA and in IT and then like project manager and then
Oh,
you pivoted.
yes.
So how did you manage to do that?
Well, let me be very honest. I'm recommending to people that try hands-on project management for say 2 to 3 years, right? In my case, it was a very short one. Well done. I
Hmm.
started as a software engineer, moved to QA, and even as a QA lead, right, I had an exposure to how projects were being managed. So when you are a QA lead, you are working with a bigger team on a direction from a QA perspective, right? You gain experience as a project manager too, indirectly. So I worked as a project manager for 1 year, and the next role that I applied to was a program manager. So I had a jump from being a project manager to a program manager. I was working with stakeholders from 6 different countries. It was a large scale program which was of a budget 5 million USD. It was a huge digitization program. So
Hmm.
we were digitizing a life insurance system for Chubb Life, and we were replacing the paper based application into an iOS and an Android app. So you could imagine the kind of scale it was in terms of technology, in terms of multiple vendors working on it, or when we talk about UAT, it is audience from 6 different countries working on it. So for me, that transition time was very quick, but that also made me realize that I was making mistakes, like having that common governance structure, or how do I keep a particular stakeholder group happy without impacting the others. You have your type A and type B personality, right, who have to be treated in a different way. So for me, it was more of hands-on experience. How am I managing the stakeholders in a good way? How was I able to manage the risk register specifically, that it's a 5 million USD program and it doesn't end there? See, when we bring in a kind of initiative like digitization, it would go on the roadmap. You would have many more features that would be coming in. You are developing a product here, right? The product has to run its roadmap.
Mhm.
So for me, it was a challenge. Definitely, I had my trials and errors, and I also write about, one of the basic mistakes that I made towards this program was not checking how the app's background was looking like. To me, it was a very small thing, but when we sent to UAT and people started saying the background is not fine, it doesn't mean anything to us.
Mhm.
That is why I realized that every little detail matters. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, that's amazing, amazing story of your, career, how you, I won't say like gradually, right, become a program manager. I would say it was more of the career boot camp, right? So you were like a
It was
software
right.
engineer, project manager, 1 year of experience, and then jumping into the program manager role
Right.
and learning from your like experience, learning from your day-to-day routine, right? So hands-on that basically experience, yeah, which is amazing.
And
So
learning from mistakes.
yeah, yeah, learning.
Biggest thing was learning from mistakes. Yeah.
Of course, always. I think we all learn the best from mistakes, right? Then we will remember, of
Absolutely.
course,
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
how we would need to do the other time, right? The next time.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, amazing. And so when you like pivoted through the roles, right? When you were changing the roles, of course, you were going through the different like job interviews.
Mm.
So, Janani, what helped you to succeed in those job interviews when you were changing roles? Maybe like few advices for our listeners who are maybe struggling to pass these interview rounds.
So I used to share stories of my cross-cultural or cross-functional collaborations. See, why I want to emphasize on cross-cultural as well. Normally, when you take up this kind of global program manager role, you understand that you'll be working with stakeholders from different regions. You will have to understand the cultural nuances. What role do they play? How do I speak in a better way? Or active listening. How are you making a point to listen to your stakeholders? So, guys, communication is very important. Cross functional collaboration is very important. I would also ask people to do a kind of research on the companies that you are going to apply for. What kind of products do they have? And try to understand the history behind the products as well. Now, if I have to take an example, right, let's talk about how PayPal would have been launched, right? PayPal was a revolutionary product. So prior to PayPal, if we had to do that kind of buyer to send a kind of money sent or concept like that, we had no assurance of am I paying to the right person? What kind of guarantee do I have? Or how am I making sure that there are no fraudulent transactions, right? So those are the kind of products that companies launch. I would say people have to explore more on the product. What are the whys behind those products? So with that, you will have in your mind is a strategy. Okay, probably they are heading in this direction. So when you go for an interview, you could also suggest that this is a feature that would be appropriate on your product at the moment. Or one more example I give you is right now when you look up the social media, right, when TikTok started bringing in reels, right, all of the social media were left in that battle. They had to develop something.
Right.
YouTube brought in shorts, Facebook introduced reels, right? So that was the kind of strategic thing that they had to take up in order to stay in the market. So as a program manager, you have to understand that if I have to stay in the game, what do I bring in? So you will have to make that kind of suggestions for the company. So understand their backgrounds very well. Next thing is, as a program manager, master the roadmap. You might be given a case studies where you are given an example that yes, this is our product. We want to launch to say six different countries. How do you think would be a good method to launch? You should be able to understand what kind of proof of concepts do I run in? How would the results look like? I would also say try learning on data driven decision making. It is very important to a program manager. How do you rely on data? Data over your intuitions. I agree, intuitions are also important. But when you present it to an audience, will they trust you? No. So learn to make those data driven decisions. You will have to showcase all these skill sets when you go for that interview. That shows your proactiveness. And I'll give you an example. While I was hiring for a program manager role, I still remember there was a candidate whom we interviewed. He
Mhm.
came up with lots of data about Rakuten itself. He told us, okay, Rakuten was launched in the year, these were the number of merchants, and see, look what it has grown to now. I'm like, wow, how did you research all this information? He said, yes, I was so interested in this role that I put in a strong case that yes, I'm going to learn everything about Rakuten. What are the kind of products they have in their ecosystem? How have they grown in terms of revenue?
Wow.
That's the kind of research you need to put in as a program manager. I
Mhm.
wouldn't say that is needed on a project level. You'll be managing a smaller chunk, but as a program manager, your outcomes are very important.
Wow, golden advice here. Yeah, so you need to stand out, especially in the current job market, right? So I
Yeah,
think if you just apply every of your advice, about like how to get that role, I think like every project manager will succeed because like you just mentioned, to summarize, like show that you can collaborate and communicate with your stakeholders, right? Like multicultural collaboration. If you had
yes.
that in your experience, talk about that, provide some examples, right?
Hmm.
Data. So collect the right data. If you have some, like prioritize data analytics over the intuition, right? And learn the most about the products, learn about the company, right? Where they are in the market, about the
Yeah,
trends.
yeah,
Um, are they like products like outdated or no? Are they modern? Are they on track, right? So maybe provide some recommendations or solutions. So show
exactly.
that you are useful for the company.
Exactly. And the word that I always say is program managers sit in between purpose and plan. Guys, so you have to understand the purpose, you'll have to master the plan.
Wow. Nice.
Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put that in a quote.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Understand the purpose, master the plan. You are the middleman there.
Fantastic. Yeah. I think this advice also applicable like for any professional role, like also for the project managers, right? You need to have that like plan in mind, but also you need to have that purpose. So they're like aligned
Right.
together.
Exactly, exactly. That's right.
Mhm. Okay, great. Janani, let's talk about a little bit more controversial topic here, right?
Wow.
About certifications. So
My
whenever
God, you're going to put me in a wrong spot now. We'll still talk about it. Yes.
Okay, great. Because like, the point is that when I post about like certifications, yeah, and put like I don't know, so any of my thoughts there around that, like should project managers get them or no? There is always like some debates there. Like
Yeah.
50% say like yes, you need to go for that like PMP, CSM, like all the certifications. Another part of the readers and followers, they are just mentioning, oh, I landed a job without any certification. So,
Yes.
yeah, what certifications are crucial for program managers if they are crucial, right? So, from your own experience and perspective.
Well, I'll be very honest. Most of the companies ask for a PMP. Okay, be it a project manager or be it a program manager, most of them ask for a PMP. I see that PMP is not crucial. See, PMP gives you a structured way of managing a project. The
Mhm.
same with PGMP as well, the program management professional. It gives you a structured way, a disciplined way, which is definitely a great thing to have. But just a certification will not make you a great project manager or a great program manager, Violeta. It is your real experiences and what you learn from it. Let's put it in a simpler terms as well. When you gain hands-on experience, you experience a real project, you understand where have we fallen, what were the mistakes we made. If I had to repeat the project once again, what are those mistakes I will not repeat? So
Mhm.
that kind of experience is what you need. Or even your own feelings on looking into the risk register and knowing where do I take in that decision or what is that decision. Remember, as a program manager, you cannot be running to your manager at every step that, oh, I'm stuck here, what do I do, or this decision or that. You should know what kind of decisions you're taking. That's where your emotional quotient speak. So to me, a certification is not a must. However, if you're transitioning from some other field and you want to show that yes, I am ready, go for your PMP. That's it, nothing else, nothing beyond that.
Perfect, perfect. And like follow-up question here, right? So if there is like a project manager with PMP certification, right, and they want to make that leap and land a program manager role,
Hmm.
and they can come to you and ask, okay, Janani, like what next certification should I take? So what would you say? Like focus on your experience, or just like you need to also have this and that certification as a program manager?
Oh, well, these days I tell people go and learn AI. I don't ask them to take up a certification. There's so much things that you could learn and utilize AI on. I would rather say learn AI.
Yes, especially nowadays in the AI era, right?
Right.
Focus on that like additional skill set around the AI, right? So yeah.
Exactly. Learn more on data. How does this data make a difference to me? That you could learn. You could also explore some other tools, Copilot. How does it integrate into Teams in case you're using it? Those kind of integration points. Or basic thing is learn an AI. Create your own AI agent who could summarize lots of details for you. That is enough.
Super cool advice here. Okay, and since we are talking about some AI tools like hard skills, right? So, what are the most important hard skills and soft skills for program managers to get that role and then thrive in it?
Okay. For program managers, hard skills, if you're talking about a technology program, I would say learn a bit more about your tech stack. How do things integrate? If you're working, imagine if you do have a technical background, you will know is React better or AngularJS better, correct? Right? How do I make this application scalable? Understand such kind of details. It is very important. So hard skills, your tech stack is very important. Second thing is get more comfortable managing your budgets, managing your schedules, and if you could automate anything around it now. If your project is running 2 weeks behind the schedule, how do you track it using AI? Or even you've gone overboard with the budget, how do you track it with AI? How do you get that right notification at the time and you take action? That is much more important as a hard skill. And if you could master one or two project management tools, be Monday.com or Asana, if you could bring in any of those good things that you have learned there, implement it into Jira as well, that would be good. So, hard skills, these are things you need. Soft skills, of course, learn more on communication. That's very important. Again, it's a debatable thing that will an introvert be a good project manager? Yes, they will be. I have worked with introverts and they have been great program managers or great project managers. So definitely work on your communication, work on your public speaking, work on your negotiation. These are the skills that will help you land your next role very easily.
Fantastic, amazing advice here, like communication, collaboration with the team, right? Being the
Right.
team leader, team worker, and yeah, leveraging those AI tools. So yeah, if we're talking about the AI tools, what are your top three favorite AI tools that maybe you're using now or used in the past?
Well, sure. See, I love ChatGPT any day. And
Okay,
whether if you are in that project manager role who's also writing in some requirements, try PRD GPT. It does a very good job of writing your requirements. It's that you give a summary and it gives you these are the things you have to write. So
nice.
ChatGPT definitely number one. Second thing I really love is Claude. Not sure if you're using it, but check out. I am working on a database migration project. Could you help me to give me a list of risks that I should be taking care of? Claude gives you a wonderful thing there. You could list down your risk register. You can see, am I going on the right path? So Claude is definitely there. Third thing is these days I'm looking at lots of AI agents. So I found Relay where I could create my own AI agent. I could run over smaller things like analyze my LinkedIn posts, get me the details on what kind of post do my audience likes. Such kind of things could be used on projects as well, right? Go and look into what kind of tasks derail my projects. So we could definitely look at AI agent to look into factors that could derail your project. So I would say try to utilize any of your AI agents to develop one.
Super cool. Okay, so to summarize, ChatGPT, Claude
Claude,
for making like project requirements, right? And leveraging AI agents.
AI agents. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay,
I
amazing.
personally have tried out, by the way, Copilot. When I was in a hiring manager role, I used to receive resumes which were as big as 6, 7 pages sometimes. I cannot read
Wow.
the complete content, so you can imagine Copilot used to summarize it for me within 2 pages. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like super easy, right? You just upload
exactly.
the file there and put the prompt and it analyzes it for you. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's right.
How we lived without the different Gen AI tools earlier? I don't know. I don't remember those times, you know?
Times are changing, so we are more adaptable now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's super cool that we are living in this new era, right? So
Right?
just makes our work life easier as program and
Exactly.
project.
No, we need to learn it. We need to learn it. We need to implement it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so last question here. What is the difference from your perspective again from what is the difference between a good program manager and a great program manager?
Wow. Okay. See, a good program manager definitely is delivering programs on schedule within the budget and collaborating with different teams. A good good program manager definitely is taking care that the program delivery is fine. But when we talk about great program managers, let's look at the bigger things that they are fixing. They are very good in stakeholder collaboration. They are very good in addressing the risks, managing the risks with multiple stakeholders, making sure that everyone is aligned and we found a solution for mitigating them or accepting them. We are handling the risks very well. That's important. Third thing is they are able to understand strategically where does this program fit in into my company's goals. If I have to give you an example, if your company is looking for say a kind of automation and optimization as a goal that they are looking at, as a great program manager you should be able to list down, okay, let's look at regression test automation, let us look at software code modernization. So you should be able to link all those things that could go in together, so identify those buckets that will be coming up in future. So a great program manager will definitely do that. Great program manager also will have a very good working rapport with the team. It is beyond those team chats or beyond those transactional relationships. You know that yes, Jim is the person who is very good in the software architecture. Don't go to him just for this program. A great program manager would know where to leverage Jim, how to keep that relation continuously maintained in a good way that Jim is able to help you out. So a great program manager, again, very good in managing people beyond transactional relationships. And a great program manager also brings in opportunities for their team. Okay, remember the part of delegation is very important. You are creating more leaders. That is very important.
Explicit explanation here. Perfect. So now we all know like the difference between like good and great, right? And we all need to strive to be a better program manager and project managers to be the great one, right? To deliver, not just to deliver those program or projects, but also to be the team leader, to lead by example, right? And to collaborate
Absolutely.
with the team and have that like, North Star and lead the team to that goal. Fantastic.
Right, right. And Violeta, I'm not sure if you're following it right now. I see that as a program manager, you also have your macro goals and micro goals, right? Good program managers will only look at macro goals, which is on strategically how am I delivering the programs. But a great program manager will look at macro and micro. Micro goals is towards operational excellence. How am I improving my processes? Oh, looks like that stakeholder was not happy during the program. What do I make sure? How do I make sure that in the next program they are taken care? Such kind of micro level decisions definitely is a game changer.
Yeah, yeah. So thinking about like your actions, your mistakes, like reflection basically makes you also a great program manager.
Absolutely, that's right.
Fantastic. Okay, Janani, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your wisdom with us. And yeah, your insights were truly like valuable for all of us, for all the pivoters and project managers who want to pivot and make that leap to the program management. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh no, I had great time shooting this with you, Violeta. And my last thing for today would be, guys, till you try hands-on program management, when you look at it, it might sound more complex. I would say once you are ready, go for it. I'm sure you'd make mistakes initially, but through those mistakes, you'd have your greatest lessons learned and you would be managing more complex projects in an easier way. So go for it.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Janani. Once again, yeah. So to all our listeners, if you like this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your team. And yeah, leave us a comment. So we've got more raw, honest career converse coming your way. Thank you so much. Until the next
Thank
time.
you.